Filthy Casual. Today we are playing Maplestory, talking about tramps. Sorry, I mean homeless people.
Homelessness in general, yeah.
Homelessness, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my first question is, do you think there's ever a situation in which there is, like, someone could be homeless and it's like completely like their fault, and if that's the case, do you think they should just be like denied help?
Okay, this is gonna sound harsh, but I think it's almost always their fault.
Okay.
If they are above like 18 or whatever, it's their fault. I don't like. I admit some people might have had like a really shitty upbringing, or like parents who like don't look after them and shit. But like ultimately, everyone is in control of their own life. You know, if like a meteor hit their home, that's fair enough, and it's not their fault. But really, most of it is like you don't have a job. You know, might not have any friends because you're a dickhead. You might be addicted to like alcohol or whatever. Bad with your money. I mean, I can't really think of many circumstances which could happen of which somebody is like properly homeless and it isn't their fault. And I don't, like, you could say like, oh, somebody has to move out for like a week is homeless, but you know, then they can get back up on their feet like another week later, or have to stay at friends' houses and shit, and that's fine. But I'm talking about like people who live on the streets. It's your fault.
Yeah. Okay. So
Is that a bit harsh?
I don't think so. So in that case, like, my follow-up question is, do you think that there's too much like sympathy and like you know, like, people spend too much like effort and time helping homeless people then when really it's more on them? Or do you think it's still okay?
No, I disagree. Because although it's their fault, right? I still think there's that basic human need and right to eat and survive, you know? Like, some guy is like down in the dumps and has nothing left. I still think people should be able to donate and just buy him a sandwich or some shit.
Yeah, okay.
But I wish more people would donate with the actual food or whatever instead of just giving them money.
Yeah, I agree.
Part of me thinks, don't let them go and buy a beer.
Yeah, no, exactly, absolutely. That's like that's what a lot of people say is the best way to, you know, help homeless persons, to actually buy them like an actual meal or something. Rather than,
you could like give them money thinking you're being nice, but then you
never know what's going to happen. Yeah. That's fair enough. I'd say I agree there.
I have a lot of respect for buskers though, homeless buskers. If you have a talent, I'm giving you money.
Okay.
Like, if you entertain me, you deserve that money, because like people entertain me for free, like on TV or just like friends being funny and shit, and you have gone out your way to like play guitar. I've listened to your guitar and enjoyed it. Why am I not gonna fucking pay you for that shit?
Okay. So do you, like, you always like,
if I have money in my pocket and somebody is busking, I give them money, but only if I like the song. If they play something that's shit, like, it's not good enough, then no, you don't deserve shit.
I guess that's fair enough. Yeah, no, I mean, it sounds harsh, but I think it's fair.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna kick this off right at the bat. I don't know if you know this opinion about me or not, but like, this is something.
What I'm about to.
This is going straight back to feminism, right?
Oh, okay.
Have you ever seen a fucking homeless woman? And are you telling me that a woman could be homeless and couldn't get out of it in like a second? Like, let's be honest.
Oh,
I know it's like awful of me to say that, but I'm just saying, if you're a homeless woman, you can find a house to stay in that night. You don't need to do anything. I'm just saying that men are like that kind of, you know, men just do that because men like weigh on women. You know, you can like butt your eyelids and do anything to men.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly can't remember the last time I saw a homeless woman.
I've seen countless homeless men.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a homeless woman.
No, I'm not sure I have either. That's weird, isn't it? I've never thought about that until now.
And I don't think equality is possible, so I really don't give a shit. But like, all I'm saying is, don't get offended by me saying that just because you're a girl, you don't like no sympathy. I will kick you if you're on the street as a woman. I will fucking destroy. I will spit in your face. Like you're failing.
Jesus Christ.
Maybe not that harsh, but
Fuck
even
me.
like, do you get my point though?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really know like
Why it happens.
Yeah, I guess it's just that sort of. It's just like there's more of an instinctive nature to want to help women, I think, than there is men.
Yeah. And I think it's more like say a man asked you, "Oh hey, can I stay in your house for a few days?"
Yeah.
You're like, "Who the fuck are you?" But, are you telling me that if any woman who is like above a 5 asked you, like, I'm sorry, but any woman who asks anything and she's above a 5 compared to a man, you're
much more likely. Yeah.
You're automatic. It isn't like sexism. It's just nature. You're just gonna take whatever they say more seriously. And I'm not saying like, oh, you're just gonna say yes because they're a girl. I'm just gonna say you're gonna think about it more because they are.
I think you're right. Yeah.
From a male perspective, right?
Yeah.
And this is terrible, but it's just the way the world works, and you have to accept it. And anyone who doesn't accept it, or like, can't even see that happens, it's just I'm sorry, but you're a moron. You're just dumb.
No, I think you're onto something. I never really thought about it before, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
Now, okay.
I mean, it shouldn't be like that, but it is.
This is tied to it, right?
Okay.
Now, I kind of hate the idea that if there was a homeless man and a homeless woman next to each other, right? I strongly imagine that everyone would be like, "Why is that girl homeless?"
Yeah.
And that it's done.
It's that is a bit mad, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like girls naturally have something they can bargain with, and like they can play men to their advantage, right?
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Not in like an evil way. It's just like the way it is. It's not a good or a bad thing. It's just how it is.
Sure.
Right? And men don't have that. So why, if you see a homeless girl next to a homeless man, do you give her the sympathy when he's the one who doesn't have anything that he can naturally do about it?
Okay, yeah, no, I see where you're coming from.
She should get minus sympathy.
Negative points.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It pissing me off.
I don't know. I've never seen a homeless woman though, so I can't really imagine.
Well, you could imagine. I mean, I've never seen a homeless woman, but it just goes to say something, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's like some sort of like social reason as to why there are less like female like homeless people. I don't know, like more men get like kicked out of houses and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I
imagine that more females would make more solid like friendships, like you can rely on me friendships.
Right, yeah, maybe, yeah. I don't know, it's hard to say.
But I think it's 80% being a woman and men liking that. And
probably
like this is like my view of feminism. I don't know if I said it in my feminism argument, right?
Yeah.
I think that girls have power over men or whatever, right? But I don't think it's like girls know it, right? But I think it's men's fault.
Okay.
I think whether a girl is like flirting or not, I will instantly just treat her differently depending on how she looks, and that is completely the male gender's doing, right?
Right.
We have always treated women based on how they look, and women have adapted to that, and we're blaming them for it.
That's interesting. Yeah. I guess so. It's a hard one though, because it's like it's something that would have obviously like evolved and changed over such a long period of time.
Yeah.
No, I think I agree mostly. I don't know if it's like. I don't know. I don't think like everyone necessarily blames women for it, but.
Well, no, what I mean is the fact that it's like, like you know how like this whole Gamergate thing is going on recently.
Sure.
And everyone's like, oh, you slept with this man. You shouldn't do that just to get publicity or whatever. Right?
Sure. Yeah.
And they're blaming the girl. But this is through years and years of men being like, you should be like this, you know, or men like treating women like queens or whatever just because of how they look.
Right.
So
Yeah.
now it's socially acceptable, or like not so. It's wired in a woman's brain to act this way.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
It's also the guy is to blame also for like letting her do that.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, I think I agree with that.
It depends on like the brain aspect of it. I mean, it really is like individual.
Yeah.
As to who is to blame, but as a
Sure.
species to blame, I think it's male.
Like overall, yeah. Okay, no, that makes sense. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I say to blame, like as if it's like a bad thing.
Okay.
Like, I don't think the situation is bad at all. I fucking love it. Right?
Okay, fair enough.
But I mean, some people think it's bad, so that's just my 2 pence.
2 pence. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Do you know anyone, or have you ever known someone that's been homeless?
I know quite a few homeless people, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just from like befriending like chavs, and I don't know, somehow for some reason I have quite a lot of like really poor friends, and I don't know why, because like I'm middle class and shit, but I just have like I can like sort of befriend anyone. You know what we said in our stereotypes thing, where instead of like judging someone based on like whether they're a goth or whatever, you judge them based on their individuality.
Okay.
I do that, and I solely like befriend people based on like their morals.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
You know, I've befriended chavs with morals which I agree with, and goths, and you know, anyone.
Just anyone. Yeah. That makes sense.
So you know, when I go out to meet friends, I just go tackle everyone and see who I like, and it's like. Some of them have been poor, so I have poor friends who are homeless, and a lot of them, their lifestyle is like, I think it's different if you're an adult. If you're an adult, right, all your friends are going to be like, mate, I've got a job and a wife now. No, you can't stay with me. I've got my life now.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're a teenager, a lot of teenagers are just going to be like, yeah, come bunk with me for a week or whatever. It'd be cool. You know, I've got your back.
Yeah.
People just will skip out on their friends when they get older and stuff, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think there's a lot of hatred going around for like, oh, you used to be cool, or you've changed, or you don't look after your brother anymore. And it's like, no, you never grew up. You're still in this teenage world of like staying at your friends' houses to get your back. You're like 40 years old, right? You're homeless. Sort it out yourself. Not like sort it out yourself, like don't ask for help, but I mean like you can't expect somebody to like let you live in their house and change their lifestyle for a few weeks or whatever just because you're homeless. We're not in like the favors world anymore.
I guess so. I don't know. That's a tricky one though.
I think it also depends on like how close the friendship is.
Yeah. I was gonna say I think like there are some cases where that wouldn't be the case for sure.
I mean, as a teenager, I think you're more susceptible for even like somebody you know not even very well to come over to your house and just be like, can I stay for a few days?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But like if you were like say 30, you had your job, and some guy you met like a few times came over and said, can I stay? You'd just be like, fuck off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No, I think that's fair enough. Yeah, because like over time, like the people you're more close with, you'll keep in contact with anyway, or like you'll sort of. I don't know, like you'll see them more often. But if there's someone that you didn't really know that well, then yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from. That makes sense. So
yeah.
what's your relationship with these people? Like, do you speak to them often? And
it's kind of up and down. Like sometimes they come to my house and I can tell they might want something.
okay,
Or I'm a little uncomfortable with the fact that they don't have that drive or like level-headedness to sort of see where they're going and do something about it, because a lot of them are very much like, you know, I can tell they're going to be in that lifestyle for a long time, and you know it's awkward because I'm going through that transition in my life right now of between like, oh yeah, you can come over, I've got your back, that fake like I need to be good because that's what people do, to I need to be realistic now, and like, you know, when in the education episode I said my friend came over to the house and like he, you know, said shit, right?
Yeah, I remember.
And that was the first time I'd ever turned somebody away, and that's just, you know, I did turn away and I don't feel bad about it. I just feel like I've got my own life now, you know.
Okay, fair enough.
I like that. It's cool, and I can you know, I'm friendly with them, but I'm just not gonna let them walk all over me.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's fair enough.
But a lot of them just go from like house to house. It's like, you know, they'll come to your house and act as if you're like best friends, or like they're the first person they've gone to, or like, I don't know. But no, they're just going to everyone they know or have ever met and being like, can I stay here? Because, you know, they're only friendly when it suits them. A lot. And I know I am to people, but like, I'm not asking to stay in your house.
Fair enough, yep. Well, maybe one day the tables will turn.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's a lot to do with morals, in my opinions. Like, if somebody comes over and asks something, no matter how much they need it, I'm always gonna think of what their intent is. And if your intent is good, then I'll fucking do it. But if your intent is just selfish, I'm not gonna help you.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Fucking
Surely,
God.
like, I don't know, I find that weird though, because surely the whole point of like helping people is that it's helping them with something they need.
Yes, of course. What I mean is, they need to be honest and open about that. Now, like, I'm just, it's like the delivery, right? So say somebody's like, oh, hey, I'm really beat up at the moment and I need a hand. Nobody's letting me in. Can I stay at your house or whatever?
Right.
That's cool. That's fine. I mean, it's up, and like that's how it is, and you can just say like yes or no depending on how you feel about it, right? But I don't want someone who I've like only seen like twice going like, hey Lewis, how you been? And then they like feign hanging out with you like all day, and then at the end of the day they're like, I need a place to stay.
Yeah.
You're trying to play me here.
No, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That's yeah, that's fair enough. Hit me up.
So do you think, what do you think of the way that a lot of people can just like look past a homeless person? Like, somebody can just be sitting on the street and he lives there, and like 50 people can just walk past him, not even notice he's there, like not even look in his eyes or anything. I do this. Sometimes I look at them, sometimes I don't. Or sometimes
it's
they
weird,
can talk
yeah.
to me and I just completely ignore them.
Yeah, no, it's weird because I mean I do that, you know, sometimes as well.
And it's like that. I think there are only two circumstances where I would ignore someone who I've only just met like that. One, if they're a tramp, and two, if they look intimidating. Like if somebody's trying to like say, "Oh, you come over here" or something, you know, I can just ignore them and walk away.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know. I haven't thought about it until now. I don't know if it's morally wrong or not to like ignore a tramp. Or a
It feels like it should be. I don't know.
It feels immoral, but then you kind of know what they're gonna ask. It's just like, you know, if you feel like giving them money at that time, then do it. And it's this thing of like, you know, you can say it's immoral not to give to charity, right?
Sure.
Actively not give to charity, but then there's a charity around every corner. You know, it's like, it's not wrong to not do something if you're forced into the situation of doing it, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, yeah, because there are so many people who are like, especially with the charity thing, even if you give to like one charity, there's always going to be like, oh well, but there's this other charity which is really like important and does really good work and stuff, and it's like you have to like draw a line somewhere. Yeah. If that makes sense, and it's
like people saying like, oh, Bill Gates is like a billionaire. Why doesn't he just give like billions of dollars to charities and shit and end it all? It's like, that's not how it works.
Yeah, no, I agree.
More money to charities than like loads of people. He gives an insane amount. Who the fuck are you to tell this businessman who has carefully planned out his life, who are you to tell him what to do with his money? He's not morally obliged to do anything, and he helps out more than like, you know, millions of people put together.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's like a saying that I heard once, which is something along the lines of kindness is not measured by how much you give, but how much you have left. And I guess it's kind of linked to it, where it's like, I don't know, it's like some people have that view though, where it's like, actually, especially in religion, I think it's kind of a little bit linked to religion, where you're sort of like, it's like almost like an obligation, if that makes sense, that some people feel like it's a sort of part of their duty of being like a part of society or something, to give back something, however much of what they earn or whatever, to a charity or charities, or to the homeless or whatever.
I think that's fine, but I think there should be like a limit. Like, for example,
Right.
say somebody says to Bill Gates, give 90% of everything you earn to charity just so you can survive, right? Like, enough for your essentials. Like, he could do that, but in the long run he might give less money to charity by doing that, just because he can't like keep his business going if he gives all this money.
Yeah, no, for sure. And there's I don't know, it's hard to say, but I think there's like, I think there's something to be said for people being allowed to like enjoy the rewards of their work.
Yeah.
Even though, having said that, sometimes the rewards of their work is kind of a bit disproportionate to what they've actually done.
Well, that's just the way the world is, and just because it might be unjust or something, you're no one to say like, oh, the way you earn you earn too much money for that job which you done, so give me that money, or like let me decide what. No, it's like they earn too much money, not you.
Yeah, no, for sure, definitely. And I think, I don't know, I think people have this too much of like a idyllic view of the world, where it's just like, oh, if everyone gave like almost everything and just lived on the basics away to people, then the world would be a better place. But I don't think that's true.
We need to get Dory as a guest speaker on this subject in more depth, because she believes it's like morally wrong to like leave an inheritance to your children and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And it fascinates me. And like how much you earn and what you should do with it. She's a strong believer of like you should do this with that money, or you shouldn't, and you shouldn't like capitalize on your money so that people stay poor and shit like that. And it would be great to have a discussion about that in depth, I think.
Yeah, sure,
But
definitely.
with Dory, because I had an argument with her about it, and she had some amazing points. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Something that's gonna happen sometime.
Yep, sometime in the future, for sure.
Yeah. Alright, so is it my turn about homelessness?
I think so, yeah.
No, wait, I asked you about your thoughts about like walking past them and shit.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So can you like imagine yourself, or not can you imagine yourself being homeless, but if you were, can you imagine like how you'd react and like what you'd do about it and whatnot?
Okay, so I hate to say it, but like if I think if you're homeless, it kind of forces you into like some sort of lifestyle. Like you have limited options.
Okay.
And I hate to say it, but I think I would be one of those people who just like goes round to everybody I know and just is like, oh hey, have you got a place for the night or whatever. It really just halts your life into, you're thinking like day by day instead of, oh, I need to plan the next 3 years. I got uni and shit like that. It's like it just all goes away.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would love to be the kind of person who would just like be charismatic and sort myself out and make connections and maybe busk or like
like that film. What's that Will Smith film called again? Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness. Amazing film.
That's
one of
like,
my favorites.
Yeah, that's like sort of like the perfect idea of a homeless man, isn't it? Really.
Well, he's not homeless, but he's like really struggling. Actually, he does go homeless.
He does become homeless,
yeah.
For like a while.
Yeah.
And he just like through like pure like hard work and charisma just like climbs his way back up.
It's one of my favorite films. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to imagine because it's such like a vastly different like lifestyle to what we're used to. So it's hard to imagine how we'd react. But I don't know. I mean, I'd like to think I'd sort of at least try to do something proactively. Like look for jobs and all that kind of shit. But
it would be harder though. It would be much harder.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it would be much harder.
And you'd be depressed. It would weigh a lot on your mind.
Definitely. And when you're in that sort of like depressed state, it just makes doing things so much harder,
Of course,
It just makes it harder to be like proactive about stuff.
Although some people might get driven by that more. Some people are
true.
really like, I will not even like stop breathe. Like I will not take any breather until I'm back on my feet.
Sure, yeah.
I really admire people who can do that.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. That makes sense. Yeah.
Right, this isn't about homeless people, but I'm curious now. how much do you feel like you're learning yourself, like talking about these? Not learning yourself, but I mean, do you think you're learning generally?
What do you mean?
Doing this talk series, like I think my opinions are shifting here and there. I'm thinking about things which I've never even thought about before. Every now and then,
yeah, to some degree, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always like whenever you talk about something like with at least one other person, there's always like an element of like when you have to like verbalize your thoughts, it forces you to think about them in a more like detailed way, and it often you suddenly find yourself saying something, and you're like, oh yeah, I didn't realize I thought like that or that I believed that, and then you sort of scrutinize it or yourself, and
I love that.
Yeah, it is a good thing for sure.
Because I could have an opinion on music, which is just like I just formed an opinion without like much thought to it, and then when I can be like, okay, I'm going to talk about that, and then when I go and talk about it, I have to think, why do I hate that, or why do I think that way?
Sure, yeah.
And that's awesome. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
And it's you know how some people are like play a game of chess every day, or do that kind of thing. I really feel like this is like stimulating.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's good. So self-critical analysis is always a good thing.
Yeah. Homeless people, man. Okay, so like, would you give advice to a homeless person? Like, how do you think they should act? What do you think they should do? Do you think they have a right to speak to people and such?
I don't know. I don't know if I'm like entitled to give advice because I'm not really qualified or experienced. I don't know. I mean, I've never really known anyone.
Yeah, but as like a member of the public, you can experience homeless people and be around them and stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone has their own opinion, whether it's moral or not.
Yeah, for sure. I guess so. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would say. I guess just like, try and like take control as much as you possibly can. Obviously having said that, it's like always a lot easier said than done because, like we said earlier, when you're in like that depressed state, it's obviously a lot harder to like motivate yourself to do stuff, but just as much as you can, try and motivate yourself to, at least take control, even of like just little things here and there that can make a difference. I don't know though, it's a hard one.
I don't know, man. Part of me is like, I don't know where, just when they like look sad and stuff, try and make you feel guilty in a public space. There's a different, like, some people, they're homeless and then they go to like the suburbs, but some people will get homeless and like, oh, I'm gonna live in a train station where like hundreds of people pass every second,
Yeah.
And it's like, it just goes to show like a different mentality between like people in the same situation. I think one is moral, one isn't. But do we live in a moral world? Do you not think that
it's just like one person being more using what they've got to their advantage more?
I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's them like being clever about it or them just seeing like, I've completely given up, I'm just going to rely on everyone else now.
Right, yeah. I think there can be that element to it, which is dangerous for sure, because that can't last for forever,
Oh my god, oh my fucking god, oh my god.
What?
I just remembered.
What?
Right? Okay. I was sitting on a train once.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god. No. I want to punch my fucking screen right now, okay, right? So this woman fucking walks onto my carriage, right? And there's other people with me, right?
Yeah.
And she has like this box or like this purse.
Mm.
And as she walks down the carriage, she hands out a piece of paper and tissues on a seat next to everyone, or like gives it to everyone, right?
Mm.
It comes to me, and this note says, like, "Hello, I am homeless," or whatever. Do you want to give me any money?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I cannot afford my lunch today. Give me money.
Yeah.
And then she goes to the end of the carriage. She sits at the end for like 5 minutes, and then she'll come back and just take the notes back and the tissues or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so many things about this, right? One, why are you giving people tissues? Like they're gonna cry at your fucking piece of paper, you dumb shit. right? 2, you're asking for money without verbally speaking to people.
Well, surely it's big.
Fucking dumb, right? No, it's fucking offensive to just like hand paper, like take my paper, don't look at me or speak to me, like you're not worth my time. You know, like if you're begging for my money, you better fucking sing to me, mate. You better fucking plead your life out. Don't give me a piece of paper. Who the fuck are you, right? Secondly, she gave me these free tissues, right? Begging for money or whatever. I put the tissues in my bag because I'm like, free tissues, right?
Yeah.
When she comes back, she asked for the tissues back. I'm like, you gave me tissues. You gave them. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, right? Part 2. Secondly, I just can't understand why anyone would do that. Please, please tell me why. Why not just go up individually, speak it to everybody on the train, and be like, "Excuse me, my name is such and such. I've gone through a hard time." Like fucking boneless, spineless pieces of shit. I'm sorry. Like, please enlighten me.
I don't know. Why are you asking me?
For some reason why this woman is not a complete piece of shit.
I've had that once. I think it was in McDonald's actually. Yeah, it was. There was a guy. It was a similar thing, but it was like they were like cheap, like knockoff, like necklaces and shit, like plastic, like plastic jewelry and shit. Yeah, and he was like, I think he was trying to make it a bit like sly because I think if like the McDonald's like staff saw him, they'd probably just like kick him out. But
yeah,
I think he was just like going around to the tables and shit, and like I think he had like a note of some sort as well. I don't know though. I think maybe I don't know. It's so hard to say because it's so like circumstantial.
You have to speak to people.
I think you do. I can imagine there being some scenarios in which you can't though. Like if I don't know, maybe like you don't speak English and someone like wrote that for you or something.
Yeah.
I can imagine that. Or
no, I think if you're homeless in a foreign country,
or if you're a mute,
to like the council or some shit,
Yeah. Or if you're a mute.
Yeah, but I mean.
But those are kind of, I guess, more rare examples. But
if they're a mute, they need to say so on the card.
I guess so. Yeah.
Like, hello, I'm a mute. This is the reason I'm doing this bizarre thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just weird and spineless, and I hate it.
I don't really know what to think of it because it's like I don't know. It's such a it's for a start, it's such a rare thing, but it's such a.
It's happened to me twice now.
Okay.
Right? And the second time it happened to me, just before she was like getting to me, I was just thinking like as soon as she got out the tissues or whatever, I was just thinking about like grabbing it, like stuffing it back in her bag, and then just like kicking her face in.
Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry, but like, have some fucking balls.
I guess so. Yeah.
Do you not get offended? Like, if somebody did that to you, would you not be offended? Like, I am worth a piece of paper. That is what they are saying.
I guess so. I mean, I'm trying to like think how I reacted when that guy was in McDonald's from before. I think
the first time you see it, you're like, what the fuck is this? This is weird.
Yeah, it was a bit like shocking. I didn't really know what to think at the time. I don't know though. I don't know what to think, to be honest. I really don't. Because it's like such a. I can't like imagine how they must, like what must have happened to them and how they must feel to like feel the need to do that.
Yeah. I want to like interview one or something. It's weird.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, we're 34 minutes in, so I think it's a good idea to stop here.
Okay.
Alright guys, my next episode is going to be about perspective. Okay?
Yep. So,
views on things, why people view this, how people can view the same thing in different ways. If how some people can look at things all wrong or all right, or all sorts of stuff. I mean,
yep.
It's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm Nextrus.
I'm Filth Casual.
See you guys in the next episode.